up, guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Mila, and welcome to another anime discussion. Now, today, the movie that we are talking about is Case Closed Movie 2, The 14th Target. Now, if you guys don't know what Case Closed is, and you haven't seen my previous video or the previous movie, or even the series of Case Closed, let me tell you what Case Closed is all about. This anime is about 17-year-old high school detective Jimmy Kudo, who is a very, very smart person. He's a fan of Sherlock Holmes, and he started helping the police out with their investigations and solving one difficult case after another, and he slowly became famous. So he became a famous high school detective, helping the police solve cases and all that. One day, while he was at the amusement park with his best friend Rachel, he notices some shady things going down between the men in black. So, of course, as any good detective would do, he followed them. And while he was so absorbed watching the things going on, he didn't notice that another man in black was sneaking up behind him. They knock him out and give him an untested experimental poison. And when he wakes up, his body had shrunk down to the size of a kid. Following Dr. Agasa's advice, which is technically his next door neighbor, he decides to keep his identity a secret, because if the men in black ever find out that he's still alive, they're going to go and finish the job, and they're going to hurt the people around him. So for his sake and for the people around him sake, he keeps his identity a top secret. He doesn't even tell his best friend Rachel. However, what he does do is he gives himself a new identity, Conan Edogawa, and he goes to live with Rachel and her father, who is a private eye. Him being already a detective, he can secretly investigate the men in black if it ever occurs that something about the men in black comes up. But turns out that her father's not the greatest detective. So he uses several gadgets that Dr. Agasa makes for him, and he uses his own deductive talents to help Richard out, and he ends up making Richard an international sensation. He's famous detective Richard Moore. While Jimmy, he goes back to elementary school. But what this movie is about, so Rachel, she has a bad dream that her mother, Ava Caden, gets shot. She calls her mother's all fine, whatever. They have a nice conversation, and Rachel reminds her about dinner that night. Hangs up. And then after they hang up from the conversation, Ava's over here thinking, was that just simply a bad dream? Or is she remembering? And when I heard that, I was like, remembering what? Like, what's happening? And they do show a bullet wound, so it looks like she did get shot. But we don't know the circumstances of it yet. And if I've learned one thing from Case Closed, it's that they never show something for no reason. So anyway, they end up going to dinner with Ava. Richard, Rachel, and Jimmy, they all end up arriving late. And they have a nice dinner until Richard starts fussing over his bartender, Tammy, being with another man. Of course, Ava's gonna get mad. And she's like, I'm leaving. Not long after that, a series of very strange things start to happen. First, Inspector McGuire gets shot with a crossbow in broad daylight while he's taking a jog. Second, Ava Caden, which is Rachel's mother, gets poisoned via a box of chocolate. And third, Dr. Agasa, while Jimmy's in his house, like, pondering the weird things that were found at each crime scene. He's trying to figure out where he's seen it before. A rock gets thrown through Dr. Agasa's front door, like the glass, and while Dr. Agasa and Jimmy go to investigate it, Dr. Agasa gets shot with a crossbow right in the lower back, like slightly above the bum. And Jimmy chases this person unsuccessfully, of course, with the help of the Junior Detective League, but he ends up getting away. And when he returns, he finds something at the crime scene that gave him, that little light bulb where he's like, wait, I know what this is. He explains to the police that each attack is related to a playing card. So Inspector McGuire would be the number 13 or the king. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the correlation, but I do know that Ava's the queen because in some languages Ava means queen. And Dr. Agasa owns 11 patents for 11 inventions that he's created. So he's connected to the number 11. And all of these people are somehow connected to Richard. So everyone who's being targeted, going down the list of the deck of cards, is being targeted because of Richard. I don't want to say because of Richard, but the attacker is targeting people close to Richard. So their mission is to, 1, protect the people who are being targeted, and 2, to figure out who the attacker is. While they're gathering information on the case, they come across some interesting information. So Inspector McGuire and Richard suspect that the person behind the attacks is JT Morano. Now, in the beginning of the film, we see someone getting out of prison. No idea who he is. Apparently, he's JT Morano. And he was a shady card dealer that Richard and Inspector McGuire put away together. And there was a situation that happened when Rachel was around 7 years old. So what had happened was when they brought JT Morano into the police station, he had requested to go use the bathroom, and right then is when Ava came with Rachel to see Richard. And JT had overpowered the cop in the bathroom and ends up taking Ava hostage. And so what Richard does, he actually fires his gun, even though it was a hostage situation. Now, in the movie and in that time period, it was totally unheard of for an officer to fire their weapon in a hostage situation. So what Richards ends up doing before they give him any kind of punishment is that he resigns from the police force and becomes a private eye. So we get that kind of lore, like, why did Richard become a private eye? This situation is the whole reason. And Rachel, of course, is very shocked and very upset by this information. She's just like, why would my dad put my mom in that kind of danger and fire a weapon when she's taken hostage? Like, she just couldn't grasp it. And in the movie, we see her struggle with that internally. And she feels very connected to this case because she wants to figure out why. Like, what happened? What were the circumstances behind why Richard would ever fire his weapon in that kind of situation and put her mom in danger? And she's even suspecting that maybe that's the reason they got divorced, because her mom could never trust Richard to keep her safe again. My favorite character in this movie is definitely Emilio. He is a photographer. And they don't show much of him, but like, he's very rough on the outside. But when the going gets rough, like, he gets so kind, you know? Like, there was a gentleman in there that couldn't swim. And they were put in the situation where they had to swim. Point blank, period. And so Emilio was like, hey, like, I'll help you out. Like, no need to worry about that. And then it's like, they have to swim again. And he's like, hey, I carried you once, I'll carry you again. No need to worry. And it's just, I don't know, seeing someone so rough and so cynical like that, being so tender and kind, it just melted my heart. So I think Emilio is definitely, even though he's a side character and he never, ever shows up in the series ever again, I really enjoyed him in this movie. And he's definitely my favorite character in this movie. My favorite scene is definitely when Jimmy crash lands the helicopter into his elementary school recess yard. That was lit. Like, the whole situation behind the helicopter, how, like, they get in the helicopter and Henry Tish puts the eye drops in, and then the sun blinds him, and he's like, Conan's like, or Jimmy was like, Don't worry, I got this. Like, I used to ride the helicopter simulator all the time when I was a kid, and Rich was over there like, but you're still a kid. Like, what are you talking about? Because obviously they don't know he's Jimmy, 17-year-old Jimmy Kudo. They don't know. They just see Conan, little elementary school kid. And that's putting your faith in a kid to crash land a helicopter is really tough. And Richard, being afraid of heights, was like, yo. Now, I don't always pick a favorite gadget, but in this movie, my favorite gadget that Conan has, I mean, he has many, many gadgets that are pretty impressive. Like his voice change, um, his bow tie voice changer, his wristwatch stun gun. He has his super powered sneakers. But in this one, my favorite, oh, and his solar powered skateboard, of course. But my favorite in this movie, which I don't think they have in all of the movies across the board, but is his suspenders. Those suspenders are so stinking cool. And it's like in the even in the anime as a whole, like you hardly see him use the suspenders. Hardly ever. My overall impression of the movie, as I said before, I could completely love it. I love the mystery, I love the suspense, and the appropriate comedy that they have in the little bits. Like, it's just so stinking good, and they have a tiny twinge of romance, which tickles my heart and makes me feel warm. I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger and I used to watch Case Closed, like, that anime made me want to become a detective. Now, I didn't actually pursue that career path, but it was definitely something that I thought about because of this anime. I'm like, well, shit, I kind of want to be a detective. That's so cool. Jimmy's so cool. Like, I want to be solving cases like that. And it was a very silly, idealistic way to think. But that's what I thought. Also, I definitely think that using playing cards and going down the list, connecting the numbers to people, was such a clever way to think about things and how the different decks of cards have different meanings. Like they use the spades, and the spades apparently mean death, whereas clubs mean happiness, and diamond means money or wealth, and the heart means love. I thought that was so stinking cool, and that's something I never knew before. It was just very interesting, like, and unique. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen anything like that in any other, like, movie, show, nothing. So I thought that was very clever. And now it's question time. The first question: what was my overall emotional response to this movie? Honestly, I was just in such suspense because there are so many things that go on, and the flow of it is so stinking good. Like, I don't know, I was just engrossed. I was just it felt suspenseful. Like I was like, holy shit. Oh my god. And it's just we could really feel the emotions of like some characters, like Rachel's internal struggle. I felt like I could feel that internal struggle, and I was like, damn, Richard, why would you do that? Why would you put your wife in danger, you weirdo? And then it's like this the fear of being in a helicopter where the pilot cannot see. That was terrifying, and I could feel that. And I think a a series or a movie or anything like that that can make you feel like such intense emotions is so incredibly amazing. I had such a great time watching this movie again for like the billionth time, because these case closed movies I've seen so many stinking times, and I never ever get tired of them. And I already touched on the tempo before, but what did I think of the tempo? The tempo was so stinking good. Everything flows perfectly from the beginning, where they show all the little subtle things that are going to have important later on, right up until how the attack starts and how Jimmy figures out the relation to the cards, and then them connecting it to other people, finding out about what happened with the hostage situation, and it just goes vroom like that. So perfect, so like there's nothing that I can complain about because the tempo was just good. It was just there and it kept me hooked the entire time. What were my thoughts as the anime slash movie ended? I was just like, God damn, what shitty motivation to kill people and to hurt people. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to spoil that part, and you guys are going to have to just watch the movie yourselves to see what I mean. But I was just so angry at the perpetrator, and I was so scared for, those in danger. And then I was so understanding of other characters. It was just a lot of emotions that it threw at me, and it's just, when I melt them all together, all I really feel is a great enjoyment for the movie and the journey it took me on. Would I watch it again? Hell yeah. This was me watching it again, and I will definitely be watching it in the future. Stop playing. You already know. I'm going to continuously watch this over and over and over again whenever I feel like it, and I'm never, ever, ever going to get old of it, or I'm never, ever, ever going to get sick of it. Like, not going to happen. I would 100% recommend this movie to those who are a fan of mystery and suspense. Like these case closed movies are perfect, and literally they're viewer friendly. Like first time viewer friendly. And all of the movies are, because they give you that little intro, they tell you what the anime is about, what you could have missed, different gadgets. They set you up for success so you know what you're getting yourself into. Like it's not like, oh, I haven't seen the series, I don't know what's gonna be going on in the movie type shit. No, they set you up. It's very viewer friendly and new people friendly. So I highly recommend it to anyone who just loves mystery and suspense. What would I rate it out of 10? I'd probably rate it like a solid 9 out of 10 from me. Or maybe 8.5 out of 10. I think I'm going to go with 8.5 out of 10. It's so extremely good, and I will never get sick of watching it. I just don't know if it was a complete 100. Or not 100, 10 out of 10, But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Also, let me know what you guys thought of the movies or of the movie down in the comments. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. See ya.